What's up, guys? Episode 8. We are rolling through them. I'm actually pretty proud that we've hit 8 episodes. We haven't missed a week. I don't plan on missing a week. I want this to be as successful as possible. Hopefully you enjoyed the past 2 episodes with guests. My son was on the last one. I know he's the cutest thing ever. You should see my daughter. She's so cute too. But this one, we're gonna dive a little deep into my past. I am officially 2 weeks off of alcohol, which is, that's pretty good. I mean, last time I quit, I went about 3, maybe 4 years. And then my buddy, we were in, where were we? We were in Memphis. I for some reason I kept thinking of New Orleans, but I've never even been there. But we're in Memphis, we're hanging out, we're gonna go hit Beale Street. He was like, come on, man, just have a drink with me. So I was like, you know what? It's been long enough. I'm not dealing with the anger or dealing with all the trauma and stuff like I was back in the past, so why not? But then once I drank, I just kept drinking. Not like an alcoholic, you know. Every once in a while, the weekends, sometimes not even every weekend, but enough, you know. It wasn't like I needed alcohol or that it was something that I had to have in my life. It was just, I thought it was a good time. But the more I would do it, the more I would realize I don't really like drunk Jarod. And drunk Jarod that's his own persona. There's not many like him. He is probably not fully, but he's pretty opposite of me. Just a reckless person. I had a friend tell me not too long ago, he's like, man, you should probably just stop drinking. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna keep drinking with my friends. He's like, yeah, but you are the type that you become a completely different person. Like it's not like, oh, this guy's just drunk. It's like, this is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, I'll have fun, but I like to fight. I love to fight. I'm always trying to get into something. If the opportunity arises, I'm gonna jump on it. I'm an asshole. Like, I'm very blunt and just a prick. And honestly, with everything I'm trying to accomplish, with trying to help as many people as I'm trying to help and trying to do as much as I'm trying to do for the world, being drunk and being that person, it's not gonna be what I want. It's gonna be eventually me getting in trouble for something stupid, or yeah, honestly, that's basically where it's gonna end up. Me getting in trouble for something stupid, me doing the wrong thing around the wrong people that could have been something to boost my career instead of kill my career, and it's just gonna be something terrible. Now, I didn't fully get into this mode, but drunk Jarod back in the day, back when I was, say, 15, I started drinking at 11. That's when the first time I smoked weed. That's when I first started drinking. And for the longest time, I wasn't really into drinking. I was more of a pothead. I love smoking weed, getting high. But when I would drink, I would just become a monster. Like, I would say the worst things possible. I was abusive. I put holes in walls. I loved putting holes in walls. I was such a piece of shit. And I kind of felt like if I just kept drinking, slowly, I'd probably be dragged back to that person. And I worked so hard to get away from that person, to not be the huge piece of shit that I was. Because I was such a garbage person. Like, I hate me. Not me now, but I hated that version of myself. Everybody else hated that version of myself. My son's mom went through hell because of it. Her family hates me because of that person. And a lot of the stuff you do when you're drinking or when you're fucked up on something else, could be drugs, could be whatever, some things you just can't come back from. No matter how much I grow, no matter how much I change, no matter how much I do to be better, to certain people, there's nothing that can change what happened. And I mean, I remember one time I got so drunk, was young too. I was probably like 17. I got hammered at a girlfriend's house. I remember falling off her porch. We ended up, my friends took me to the park. I passed out in the park. I was just crashed out, just sleeping. This is the middle of the day. Luckily, no cops came because Eaton was a very small town. Cops loved me. They used to joke that they had my picture on the wall. They would stop and search us for no reason. They would throw us down. They would slam people. I mean, they were terrible, terrible people. One of the reasons why I don't fully like cops to this day. I mean, I'll respect respectful people, and anytime I'm pulled over, I'm like, yes sir, no sir, all of that good stuff. But I don't really like cops. Some are great, some are good people, but then there's also the ones that kind of just ruined it for me. So I'm lucky I didn't get arrested that day. I would get hammered, and I would just be such a trying to think of the best way to put it. I would be verbally abusive. I could say the worst things ever. Like I would just tear you apart. I'd pick out things that I know that you don't want to hear, or things that you think they're hidden from others, and I would just get you. I'm very good at reading people. I'm very good at seeing flaws. I'm very good at seeing things that people want to hide, things that they don't think other people see. And when I would get drunk, it would come out. And I mean, even at one point I was so drunk, I was fighting with, I think my girlfriend at the time. We're going back and forth. We're arguing, screaming, and my mom gets in the middle of it, and I bit her cheek. Like, I didn't draw blood or anything, but still, like, that's who I was when I was drinking. There was another time where we were at a lake, or not a lake, we were at a river in Fort Collins, and I was on ecstasy, I was on probably coke, I drank like 5 40s, and at one point I just sat down, and I was like, I'm not going nowhere. And my friends are like, dude, you gotta get up. We gotta go. Like, no, I'm like, no, fuck you guys. And we end up, they get me in the car, and they're driving. And this is who I was when I was drinking. Like, if I got really fucked up, I'm like, I fucking hate you fucking people. You guys are pieces of shit. Fuck you motherfuckers. You fucking assholes. And they're just trying to get me home. They're like, fuck, man, he's obliterated. We gotta get him safe. And so we get to a spot where I'm with a guy, a girl, and maybe someone else, but they all get out of the car so that they can get the girl to her car. And at that point, I jump in the driver's seat and I take off. Fuck you motherfuckers. Fuck you guys. And I just take off. I end up at my house. This is when I lived with my grandparents and my mom, and we all lived it was 6 of us in the 2-bedroom. And I end up at my house, and at this point, I'm just, I hate my life. I want to die. I hate this. And I think I was like 17 at the time, maybe 18, and I had a couple guns. And I went downstairs, and I grabbed one of the guns. I loaded it up, and I was gonna end my suffering, let's say, without getting monetized or demonetized. Chances are I'm not even gonna be monetized, but. So I get home, I'm hammered, it's just my mom there, I'm like, I hate it, I'm sorry, I gotta do it. And my mom's like, what is going on? What is wrong? And I'm like, nothing, I'm just a piece of shit. And I go downstairs where my room was, I take the gun, I put it on my lap, and I'm about to do it, and my mom comes in, and she starts talking to me, and she talks me down, and we're like talking a bit. And I go upstairs to use the bathroom, and then I come back downstairs, and she hid the gun. I think she hid both guns, because I had 2 of them. And I lost it. I start destroying the house. I'm like, give me back my property. It's my property. I'm ripping I'm ripping the frames off of shelves. I'm going through her stuff. I'm just destroying shit. I'm going nuts. And my brother, he was on the phone with my mom at the time, and he hung up and he called the cops. Eventually, my mom was like, "Fine, here, take it," and she gives me my guns. And I had one that had been thrown. All the serial numbers were scraped off. The barrel was scraped out. It was bad. It was so illegal. And then I had another one. It was just a little 25, like a little hooker gun, like for your boot. Little guy, brand new, still in the box. And I go to walk out the door because I got my stuff. I'm going to take off. I'm going to go drive, and I don't know where I was going, but I was just going to take off. And as I'm walking out the door, I see a cop pull across the street. And I knew right away. I already knew. So I run downstairs, and in my basement, in my room, since it was unfinished, there was a spot where you could like reach up and put stuff. And I had another piece of like drywall that I would put up there so it looked like it was one solid piece. And I was so drunk, I ran down there, I put the super illegal gun up there, put the drywall up, hit it, and I go walking upstairs all cocky because I can hear the cops. And they've got their guns, and they're like, "Get on the ground, you have a gun?" And I was like, "I don't have shit, motherfucker." And they're all all right. And I turn around all cocky, and they reach in my pocket, and they reach in my back pocket, and he pulls it out, and he throws it on the table, and it was the 25. And I was like, "That's not mine, you put that there." I was hammered. So he throws the gun down. They take me, they put me in the back of the car. I'm spazzing out. People are coming from, like, the neighbors and stuff are coming and looking at me. I'm freaking out. I'm crying because in my mind, if you get caught with a gun and it's been used, then you're going to get charged for it. Like, you get the murder charge or whatever. So I wasn't sure. And they kept coming back to the car, and they're all, "We know you have another gun. Your mom said you have another gun, a black one." And I was like, "I don't have another gun. I don't have shit. You guys, I don't have nothing." And in my mind, I'm like, I know for a fact that gun's been used. For sure. Just by the way it was tossed, just by the way it was filed down, I was like, the way I procured it, I was like, I'm 99% sure that gun's been in something. So I was terrified. I was just waiting for him. And at one point, he walks up. He's like, "Oh, you don't have another gun? You don't have another gun?" And he's got a box. And he goes, "Then what's this?" And I go, "Oh, no." And he opens it, and it's empty. And I was like, "See, I told you I didn't have another gun." And eventually, my grandma's home at this point, and she always had my back, even in times she shouldn't. And she finally gets him to get out of her house. She's yelling at him, telling him to get out of the house, to stop searching stuff. And finally, she kicks him out and gets him out of the house. They take me to detox. I spend a couple days, I think like a day and a half in the hospital. And when I'm there, one of the nurses is like, "Oh," like, she's super nice to me. And then she comes back in like a little while later, and she's all, "Dude, you got to tell me if you're on stuff." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You failed for coke, there's meth, there's like heroin, there's all kinds of stuff in your system." And I was like, "I don't do any of that stuff. The coke, yeah, but like I don't do any of the meth or anything." I was like, "I take ecstasy." And the cops were in the room at that time. And they're all, "See, I told you, I knew it." And I was like, "All right, yeah, I don't do. I took ecstasy. I was drinking. That's all I was on." So I'm like, "All right, we're in the hospital. Maybe I'm gonna get out of this." But once I was like sobered up, they take me, and the cops come back, and they take me and they put me in this little glass, like a glass cell. Since I was attempting to turn on the off switch. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, since I was attempting to turn off the switch on my body, they put me in a glass cell so that they could watch me. And luckily, probably within 8 hours, I got bailed out and I was good. But that's who I was when I was really drinking, when I was dealing with all the trauma, all the crazy stuff I went through as a kid, the being around the wrong crowd. This was during my dealer days, so like I had a bunch of stuff. I was a mess. I was a mess. And I just felt like if I continued to keep drinking now, even though I wasn't anywhere near that, I was basically a normal person. But I just felt like it was slipping. Like I started here just having a drink with my friend on Beale Street, and I just kept slowly going lower and lower and lower and lower, and I knew eventually I was going to hit bottom again. And I've already hit bottom. And I just can't go through that again. So, officially 2 weeks off alcohol. I created an image for a belt design because I've always wanted like a wrestling belt. So I created a design for a wrestling belt that I'm going to buy at the year sober mark. Super dope. It's awesome. So I'm going to buy that, and then I'm copying the UFC's design to where you can add rubies for every title defense. So every year I'll add a diamond. And then yeah, that's the plan. I'm thinking either add diamonds or add my kids' birthstones, just as another reminder. Yeah, drunk Jarod, he was something. He was definitely something. I don't ever want to go back to that person, especially now. I don't ever want to be put in jail because of something I did while I was drunk. I don't want to risk anybody's life. I don't want to get into a fight at a bar, hit someone, their head hits the ground, and then I'm in prison. There's just too much to lose at this point. Back then, I didn't really have anything to lose. I was just a wild piece of shit. Didn't have a father. My mother wasn't really the most loving, caring person. I mean, she's been there for me through so much, and I truly appreciate her. I know she gets that twisted sometimes, but the other sides of her aren't the greatest. Which, I mean, I'm not the greatest either. So yeah, so 2 weeks sober. If you guys are going through anything like that, or you know anybody like that, just let them know to get help. I know we can't really change until we're ready. It's got to be a decision we make, which sucks because a lot of the times that decision comes when we hit bottom, because there's nowhere else but up when you hit bottom. And we have to hit some dark times before we can figure out that there's light shining down on us. And we got to start climbing out of that hole to get to the light. But if you know anyone going through something, if you know anyone struggling, try to talk to them, see about getting help, but there's really not much we can do unless that's what they want. And I know I wasn't ready. There were so many times where I was told I should stop doing drugs, or I should stop drinking, or I should stop acting the way I was acting, and I just couldn't. I was at that point where it's like, I'm gonna be me no matter what. I'm not changing for nobody, which is one of the most fucked up ways to live. It really is. Change is one of the best things we can do. You can't change unless you change. You can't grow and be better unless something changes. You can't live the life that you dream of if you continue to do shit that you shouldn't be doing. Like, I can't sit here and be like, it's the world's fault. The world is the reason this happens. I can't catch a break. I can't win, when all I'm doing is getting drunk and getting fucked up and acting a fool. It's not the world's fault. It's my fault. If we want to live a better life, and we want to live a life that we actually dream about, and we don't want to struggle, we don't want to be dying to pay the bills, and we don't want to be working our life away, then we've got to make a change. Even if it's a small change that leads into a bigger change. But we've got to make a change. And I felt like if I want my hair product to do well, if I want the Thunder God Cosmetics to turn into something, and I want this podcast to do well, if I want my other podcast that I'm starting with a friend to do well, if I want the nonprofit to help as many people as I want it to help, then I need to make a change. I can't be spending money at a bar. I can't be trying to impress girls. I can't be doing things that are going to limit me from being the man that I'm supposed to be. So my little change, stop drinking again. Give yourself some motivation to where you can keep on not drinking. Because there's been times of recent where I'm like, I'm not going to drink again. And then I start drinking again. And it's like, I've got people like my mom or my son, they're like, well, I thought you said you weren't drinking anymore. I'm like, just mind your business. Like, let me say what I'm going to say. But this time it wasn't an announcement. It wasn't something that I told anybody. It was something that I felt inside. I decided this time is going to be like the last time when I quit. This is a real quit. This isn't like I'm going to quit and then I'm all, I could use a beer with my friends. Or what about when I go see this person? We got to have a drink. This was, I don't care who I'm around. I don't care what we're doing. I'm just not going to drink. I like this version of me a lot better. I'm sure most people like this version of me a lot better. Yeah, it's fun to drink and have a few and laugh, but unfortunately, I don't have the ability to have a few. If we're drinking, we're drinking. Once we have a shot or once we have a beer or two turns to 3 turns to 7 turns to 12 turns to a long night. And I can't afford to keep having long nights just wasting my ability, wasting my brain cells, wasting my energy, because those long nights turn into wasted mornings, they turn into wasted days, they turn into not hitting the gym, not posting the amount I should post, not doing the things that I need to do, not focusing on things that need focused on, and that's not where I need to be right now to reach where I'm headed. So maybe that's the way we can tell people or we can help people. Instead of telling them they need to stop drinking or telling them that they need to do this or that because they're not going to do it unless they want to, maybe we should motivate people by showing them, like, look, if this is the life you want to live, you always talk about opening up a coffee shop. How are you going to open up a coffee shop if you're always hungover 3 times a week? Here's the way we can do this. But in order to do this, we got to stop doing this. We all have dreams, unless they've been completely beaten out of us. But even then, they're tucked away. And we all have ambitions. We all have something that we want that's better than struggling for groceries or living paycheck to pay bills, and then you're just stuck with like a little bit. And I know sometimes the best way to escape that is by having a couple beers at the end of the night, or going to the bar and hanging out with people, or maybe doing a little bit of those drugs. But if we just do the hard things that most people don't want to do, then our life is going to become easier. And quitting drinking it's not easy. Like, I think about it a lot. I'm like, well, shoot, I want to go have a beer with this person. I want to go do this, or I want to go to the bar because there's women at the bar. There's no women doing what I'm doing. But that's not worth giving up everything I'm working towards. And that's not worth giving up everything you're working towards. If you want something in life, you got to make a change. Nothing's changing until it changes. I literally just heard that at the gym. Theo Vaughn said it. And I started listening to my motivational speeches again. I'm feeling a lot better. Like, I feel great. I finally got back in the gym after being injured for like a month and a half. And I'm just ready to live again. Because even though I was having fun, but I wasn't living. I was heading into a place to where I was just going to be a bum, basically. Just basically a bum. Like, I'm working to drink. And then, oh, I spent too much at the bar, so I guess I got to work more. And I was just wasting money, wasting time. I started talking to a girl. We went and hung out at the bar a couple times. She didn't want anything more. Unfortunately, I fall fast, so I did want more. So I had to cut that off. And then it seemed like she was looking for something more with somebody else, which just made me feel like, what am I doing? Of course, why would you want more with someone that's drunk Jarod? I know I wouldn't want to hang out with drunk Jarod all the time, spend a life with drunk Jarod. So how can I expect somebody else to want to when there's other people that have a couple drinks, they're fine, they're chilling, they leave, no big deal. Whereas I'm like, oh, I'll fight that dude. Call him what's up. Tell him what's up. We'll fight right now. I don't care. Like, I was at the bar and having a good time with this person. She was there. Like, I was hanging out with her. There was another dude there that she knows, so I'm like making friends. We're having a good time. We're like, it was a good time. We were chilling, having a good time. But he was friends with her ex, and I told him, because I had a few too many at this point, and I told him, I was like, I'm gonna have to beat his ass, right? And he's all, well, why? Like, well, if that's the case, then we have a problem. I said, well, bro, I guess we have a problem. I'll beat your fucking ass too. I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't know you, that you're cool, but what? I thought we were chilling. Like, yeah, but then why do you have to have a problem? I was like, bro, I'm letting you know right now, I will whip your ass. Just an asshole, cocky person that I don't want to be. I've been that guy. I mean, I do miss the fighting, but if I want to fight, I need to figure out a good time and join a gym. And not fight, like, even sparring, just light sparring, I'm cool. I just need something to get that out. I don't need to go hard and, like, think I'm going in a gym trying to beat someone up, because that's not what I want. I just want to mess around, because fighting to me is fun. It's not about hurting someone or getting hurt. It's just about the sport. It's so fun. Win or lose, I love it. So I need to get all that out, join a gym if I want to fight, get on Tinder or something if I want girls, and just get away from the drinking scene. It's too much. It's too much. It costs too much, not even just money, monetarily. It just costs too much time, costs too much effort, costs too much energy, and it's not worth it. The whole point of this is so that we can help as many people as we can. So that we can help kids, we can help families that are struggling, we can help give someone a little bit of hope when they might not have any. And I can't do that if I'm drinking. I can't do that if I'm hungover. I can't do it if I'm wasting all my money trying to impress a girl. So it was just in the best interest. I think maybe if we go that route with trying to help people get off of things that they shouldn't be on, and we just show them what they can be, show them how what they're doing is affecting getting to that point, maybe we can help more people that don't want help yet, instead of waiting for them to hit rock bottom. That might be the solution. Or it might not. Who knows? But, I mean, it's worth a shot for the people we care about. It really is. I had to literally bribe myself. I want that belt. I created the belt. I know what I'm getting in a year. On top of all the extra great stuff I'll be getting, being more present, being physically in better shape, being mentally in better shape, being able to actually achieve goals that I probably wouldn't be able to achieve if I was drinking and hungover and wasting days. But I had to give myself like an actual trophy to go after. I don't know why I have to do it. I've always wanted a belt ever since I was a kid. Like I've always wanted one of the real heavy like championship wrestling belts. So this is it. I said I was going to buy myself one last time. Last time I was partnered with the wrong people. I was putting all my time and energy and everything into trying to grow a business with people that I shouldn't have, instead of doing what I'm doing now and focusing on things that are for me and are for what I want to do. Like the hair products, that's something that I created for my hair that I used for years. And then a couple people told me how great it was. Something hit me. I don't know if it was a dream or what. Something told me to start marketing it. And then Thunder God Cosmetics came. I've always wanted a cologne. So the next step is I'm going to create a cologne called Thor. It's going to be in a Mjolnir bottle, little Thor's hammer. And then from there, we'll just continue to grow. But that's for me. It's not some arcade bus. It's not some marketing firm that I don't care about. It's not some modeling thing that I don't care about. That is something that I genuinely care about. It's a product that I stand behind. It's a product I use. Like right now, I just came from the swimming pool because I'm trying to dry out my hair and get it looking pretty gross and ratty so that I can show, do you want your hair to look like this? Throw in the stuff, or do you want it to look like this? Because this stuff is amazing. It fixes swimmer's hair. It'll make your hair shine like gold. It's insane. You turn your head and your hair just like glistens and shines. It's incredible. It's something I stand behind 100%. I love it. So it's something that I can actually genuinely promote to the world as something that I care about. And before I was doing all of this stuff, creating websites, doing marketing, branding, all of this stuff for stuff that I couldn't care less about. I didn't care. And then I would overwork myself. I'd have no one to take anything off of my plate, and I would just be over it. I would be done. Now I got this podcast that I really care about. I post 3 to 5 times a day. We do clips. It's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the social medias. I take the time to post on all of them 3 to 5 times a day. I'm here at the studio at once every week or 2 weeks, depending on how many I bank out. And I make sure that we're posting every week. This is something I care about. The nonprofit, once that starts rolling, I've got people that'll actually do their part. We're gonna take kids that might not graduate or don't care about graduating. We're gonna find a field of work that they genuinely love, something that they care about, and we're gonna put them in that field with different teachers. I've got people in finance, I've got photographers, videographers, I've got music producers, I've got different types of people that will actually take these kids in, show them the ropes, show them how they run their business, teach them the proper way. We'll help them get their licensing, we'll help them set up bank accounts, we'll get them ready to where they can succeed doing something they love, and we'll create mentor programs for kids that don't really have solid mentors, and we'll actually help kids, we'll help families that are struggling. Because a lot of times if a family's struggling, the kid's not going to be doing the best because they're so focused about paying their bills and working, which that's not bad on them. Sometimes the kid gets a little neglected and they need a mentor. They need someone to look after them. They need someone to show them a positive way so that they don't end up drinking and biting their mom's face, or drinking and putting a gun to their head, or drinking and getting a DUI and praying to God they don't find the Molly that's in the car. Like there's things that I've been through that I don't want these kids to go through. Luckily, I was smart and knew how to get out of certain situations. I knew how to avoid getting a crazy rap sheet to where I can work with kids. I don't have any felonies. Not saying I didn't commit any felonies. So like I said, DUI with Molly in the car. Luckily, I knew where to hide it. And luckily, I knew exactly what to do in that situation. But I was smart enough to stay away from prison, from a crazy rap sheet, from just ruining my life to the point where I can't help others. And I feel like it's my goal. Well, I don't feel like it's my goal. I feel like it's my mission to help kids avoid going to prison or doing stupid things like I did or just failing at life. Not too many people are willing to give up their time, give up their energy, and help these people. Nobody helped us when we were growing up. Nobody saw us struggling and decided to do anything or intervene or talk to me or talk to my mom or do any of that. I got a bunch of empty promises. Nobody followed through. And at a certain point, I just gave up on myself. And I don't want these kids to give up on themselves. So we've got another thing that I actually genuinely care about. Yeah, so with the nonprofit, with the hair stuff, with the podcasting, these are actually things that I genuinely care about. And these are all things that, on top of my kids, are worth giving up drinking for. Because, like I said, for the belt, I'm going to put their birthstones most likely, because they're the most important. But I need something to actually give them, to show them. I need to be a success story. And I'm not going to be able to do that drinking. When I was working on things that I didn't care about, honestly, I feel like that might be part of the reason why I started drinking again. I was going through some crazy stuff with an old partner. Don't need to get into it. And then from there, I was working on an arcade bus I couldn't care less about, but it was taking up all my time, my energy. I was giving up the nonprofit. The whole goal was to help kids and actually make a difference, and all I was doing was driving a bus. It was terrible. And I would drink a lot at that point. I didn't have anything that I was actually fighting for. I was living in a shitty situation. And then when you're drinking, living in a shitty situation, you kind of act like a shitty person. And like I said, I was just going lower and lower and lower until soon I was going to hit the person I was. And I can't have that. So, yeah. Congratulations. 2 weeks sober. Yay. Woo! I can see myself in there and I don't like it. When I can see myself, I'm like, I need to flex. My arms look little. I've got very bad body dysmorphia. I was like, I need to sit here like this. Yeah, me big tough man. But yeah, I think if we all just find something that we're fighting for, and if we can point that out to someone that's struggling and actually give them a little bit of hope, give them something to work towards, it might work out a lot better than just an intervention. Because an intervention is just a bunch of people crying about your drinking and you don't care. Like, if I would have had an intervention back when I was doing drugs, I wouldn't have gave a shit. It would have just made me go do more drugs, to be honest. I'm like, what the hell? So maybe we just need to really figure out what someone wants and try to motivate them that way. And then that might just give them the incentive they need to reach out to like an AA meeting or to go talk to somebody, counseling, something. Hopefully this episode helps somebody. I mean, it's going to help me, but hopefully there's something in this episode that gets someone motivated to change. Because we all have to start somewhere. If I could have any sort of what is the word I'm looking for? If I could be any sort of motivation for someone to change, then that would be incredible. Hopefully people see me in the next 5 episodes, see the difference between the first 8 and then the next 16, and they'll go, wow, he's looking a lot better. He's a lot healthier. He's talking more clearly. Maybe they'll be like, all right, maybe there's something to this change. Especially once they see the hair stuff start taking off. Speaking of the hair product, This episode is brought to you by Thorlocks, the hair revival elixir forged for gods and goddesses alike. If your crown has lost its glory, if your beard or edges feel more like straw than steel, it's time to call upon the storm. Thorlocks is handcrafted with a legendary blend of organic coconut, pumpkin seed, walnut, and hemp oil, plus powerhouse ingredients like collagen, biotin, caffeine, and rosemary. Each drop crafted to restore strength, awaken your roots, and nourish the scalp. Whether you're growing a thunderous mane or a divine set of curls, Thorlocks was made for you, the royalty of the realm. No parabens, no fillers, no shortcuts. Just pure, myth-worthy ingredients that deliver. Try it today and feel the thunder. Visit thundergodcosmetics.com. Again, that's thundergodcosmetics.com. Thorlocks, strength worthy of a god, beauty fit for a goddess. So 2 weeks, no alcohol. I feel really good. I feel really good. The change on this one wasn't the same as when I first changed, when I was on drugs, drunk, sitting at my friend's house crying because I realized just how much of a piece of shit I was. That was a rock bottom moment. This was more of a, hey, do we really want to hit a rock bottom moment, or should we just stop drinking and just give it up, because really we're just putting poison in our body. We're wasting our time. We're taking years off our life. We're taking time out of our businesses. This one was more of just a smart decision to just stop before it gets bad, or just stop because there's really no point to it. The first time when I quit for a few years, I was doing a lot of coke at that point, a lot, because I was drinking a lot. And when I would drink, I'd want to sober up because I didn't like being hammered. And I would get super drunk and I'd be like, I need something. And then we'd end up doing drugs, doing coke. And when I didn't have coke, I would do, because I would buy sheets of acid and I would just eat them. Not the whole sheet, of course. But I would just like eat 5 to 10. I'd just go through them in a couple weeks. And at one point, we didn't have coke. There was no way to get any. I had acid. I know it'll sober me up. So I took a bunch, and I just got slapped in the face with the realization that you're here right now. Your little baby son is with your mom. It's the middle of the week. What are you doing? This is the way you want to live? This is who you want to be? You're a piece of shit. You're a terrible father. You're a waste of space. And I just started crying. I was just bawling. I didn't know. I remember I asked my friend, I was like, can you take me home? He's like, no. I was like, okay. I just had to deal with it and just cry and realize just how shitty I was. And then I had to wait the next day for my mom to come pick me up. And I was probably 29. No, that would only been 6 years ago. Like 28, 27. And I was just going down the worst path. This was after the incident where I tried to shut myself off. After the incident where I bit my mom's face. After all the holes in the wall. After being abusive to my son's mom. After being verbally abusive to everybody. None of those moments hit the same as this. And that's why I hate to tell people, because a lot of times they're like, well, if you changed, then maybe this person can change. But honestly, I didn't change on my own. It was 100% the hallucinogens going, all right, buddy, you got to face yourself. And I know when I tell people that, they just look at it, they see it as more drugs maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how people see it. To me, I'm just afraid people are going to see that and just be like, oh, you have to do drugs to get off drugs. And that's different. hallucinogenic medicine has been around for ever. Ever. The natives with their peyote, mushrooms have been around forever. The ayahuasca experiences with tribes, like, I know someone that he was really bad on heroin. So a lot of the people that I raved with and would do ecstasy with and stuff like that, they turned to heroin. I don't know why. I'm not 100% sure why, but a lot of them started doing heroin. And one of them, to get off of it, he was a rich kid, super rich kid. His family sent him to Peru for a 2-week ayahuasca retreat. And he came back off of it. Hallucinogens used to get you away from addiction is huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure even Mike Tyson used them to get away from all the stuff he was doing. And now look at him. He's like a big teddy bear at this point. Mike Tyson used to be one of the scariest people on the planet. All he wanted to do was hurt people. That's all he wanted to do. And now he's just this big, funny, soft guy because of all the mushrooms and stuff he does. So maybe I shouldn't be terrified to tell people how I got clean and how I changed for the better. And I should just be more open about it. But for some reason, the stigma around it has me worried. I don't want to tell people and have them discredit me changing. I don't want it to take away from the fact that I did change, or take away the hope that maybe their family member or loved one will change. Because hope is huge. But I also don't want people to get stuck in the mindset that their loved one will change without it. Because then the more they don't change and the more they fight and the more it just doesn't happen, the more they just give up on this person. Whereas, honestly, it's possible. I'm not saying you should, but it's possible if you give this person a decent dose of a hallucinogenic medicine, they're going to get smacked in the face by themselves too. Ego death is one of the craziest things you can go through. I remember I was crying. This wasn't even when I quit. This was a different time because I take the medicine, not a lot, but every once in a while, you start to feel that you need a reset. And at one point I took it, and I'm throwing up, my head's pounding, and it literally makes you feel like you're dying. That's the whole point of it. It drags you down to where you're like, all right, I'm going to die. This is it. And then you just start realizing nothing I've done is good. No, like, life is going to go on. People are still going to be around, and it's just me. Like, I'm not nearly as important as I've built myself up to be. And your ego just gets crushed. It's like, wait, I'm not the center of the world? No. You're kind of minuscule. You're kind of just a little speck. To you, you're one of the most important people in the world. And to some, you're very important. But even then, once you're gone, you're gone. Their life is going to just keep going on. Life doesn't stop because you do. So it really throws you through a loop, and it really, really makes you reconsider all the bad things you do, or all the bad things you've done, and all the times you've blamed the world for your problems, when you are your problems. You can't blame the world for being your problem when you are the problem. It's you versus you. There's nobody else. Nobody else gives a shit. Like, at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit what you're going through. Nobody gives a shit what you've been through. Nobody gives a shit about what's coming towards you. It's you versus you. The only thing you can do is be better than your previous self. The only person you're competing against is you. And honestly, if you gave someone just a little dose and let them face themselves, it might change everything. There's always that glimmer of hope when it comes to that. But I really don't want to give anybody a glimmer of hope because I changed and not tell them how I changed, so that they're just sitting and waiting for their person to change. And they're like, but he changed, why isn't this person? Because I changed because I faced my demons. I went to 30 years of therapy in 8 hours. That's the best way to describe it. You want to spend 30 years in therapy, or you want to spend 6 hours dealing with your demons? There's multiple ways to go about it. One is just quicker than the other. One costs like $10, $20, depending on what you're doing. It's just, I feel like I need to be more open about the way I changed and stop hiding it and really let people know. I don't want that stigma from that to take away from the fact that I changed. From the fact that I went from someone that puts a gun to their head, someone that takes a chunk out of their arm. I don't even know if you can see it. No one ever really asks about this one. That was another drunk moment. I don't want people to take away from the fact that I was that person that became this person just because of the way I did it. And since I did show it, we still got some time. Might as well talk about it. So, this big, huge scar on my arm looks that bad because I was too drunk to go to the hospital and I was on probation at the time. But I was arguing with a girl. Me and her we had gone through quite a few arguments, to be honest. Before we get into this, I'll tell you one of them. At one point, me and her we're in her car. She's in the driver's seat. I'm in the passenger seat. She has her little guy friend in the back, and we're fighting. We're arguing. At one point, I go like this and crack their windshield, and all of a sudden, I just feel someone hitting me from the back of the car. So, me being who I am, I go, okay. And I jump out of the car. I grab him. I open his door. I grab him by his leg. I pull him out. And we just start fighting. I get on top of him. I'm hitting him. He tries to get away. I roll around. And I just start choking him out. And I remember this. I laugh. This is something I do kind of laugh about still, which I shouldn't. But I always say the look on someone's face when they try to be a tough guy and they realize they messed up is one of the greatest feelings. Because I remember he tried to be a hero and I'm choking him and I'm telling him, I was like, dude, how'd this work out for you? You tried to be a big man, you tried to be a hero, now you're gonna fucking die. How'd that work out for you? And eventually she gets me off of him. I let him go. He scurries his little ass into the house and we go on our way. So me and this chick were always fighting. Always. At one point we're drinking at the bar. She starts dancing on another guy. I throw the guy off. Me and him almost get into it. She ended up cheating on me a bunch. Like, I was always so naive. Like, he's just a friend. All right, cool. Go hang out. Because I want to trust. I don't know why I'm stupid enough to do that, but I want to trust. I get a call. They're like, dude, your girlfriend's making out with this dude. And I call her, and I'm like, what? And she lies to me. She completely manipulates me, and she goes, yeah, that's crazy. They tried to hit on me, and I turned them down, so now they're just trying to get me in trouble. So then I call them back, and I'm like, you pieces of shit, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, bro, what the hell? We're trying to help you. And I snap on them. Just dumb. So the last fight we have, we break up, and I'm in my apartment. I'm like calling her, talking to her, and I have like a serrated, like a steak knife, and I go, fuck it, whoom, and my whole arm just splits open, and it was like you could see. I describe it as larva. Like, it looked like just white larva on each side, and it's just bleeding all over the place. And quickly realized that wasn't my intention, and I didn't want to die. So I call my mom. It's like 3 a.m. She drives to Greeley from Eaton, like 20-minute drive. Comes, closes me up. She's like, you need to go to the hospital. I was like, I can't because I'll go to jail. And so she comes, closes me up, and yeah, now I've got this nice, you probably can't see it well, but I've got this nice huge scar about the length of my pointer finger, gnarly scar down my arm. And that was me drinking. Drunk Jarod again. So I don't ever want to get back to that point. So I feel like it's just best to just give it up before ever even reaching it. Right now, it's still kind of fun. It's still just hanging out with friends. I do act a little crazy with the fighting stuff, but I don't even want to take that risk. And yeah, I don't want the way I quit the first time to be negated because of the way I did it. But at this point, I feel like I need to just be honest, be truthful, and really, really explain that it wasn't just me that quit. It was my guides, it was the universe, it was the gods, the angels, whatever you want to call them, slapping me in the face and letting me know who I am. So, yeah, 2 weeks. But I feel like that's a good spot to end it. I want to end again on this note. I think that the best way to help someone is to show them what they can be, show them what they're working towards, show them how they're affecting that goal. Maybe gives them something to work towards. That's why you get the chips on AA, so you have something to show, you have something to work towards. My chip is the championship belt. But I really think if we maybe go that route, show them what they're messing up, not just family, it's got to be something. I know family's huge, but when you're in that mind state, it's not as important. I don't know why. But let's show them, like, look, you always wanted to be a baker. If you spent less money on alcohol, less time hungover, less time drunk, you could start baking and learning. You can do this. And we give someone that opportunity to grow and to change for the better, and maybe they'll actually start changing. Because we can't get anyone to change unless they really want to. But I really appreciate everybody that's taken the time to get to this point. Please check out Thorlocks, ThunderGodCosmetics.com. Please follow us on YouTube at what is it? Sorry, I've got so many things going right now. At Troubled Past Podcast. I was like, is it Thunder God? Is it this other podcast? Yeah. Follow us on YouTube at Troubled Past Podcast. Hit like, hit follow. Do all that great stuff. Comment below. Let me know any of your crazy stories. If you want to get on the podcast, you can email me at troubledpastpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, I just really appreciate everybody for watching. I really do. Thank y'all. I love y'all. We'll see you on the next one.